Hi, I'm David and I am the founder and managing director of DRM Group. And today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about how we can help you or your clients. Over the past 7 years, our extensive research has shown that many businesses and their staff do not deal with stress and all of its conditions with a view to creating long-term change. Over the past 7 years, our extensive research has shown that many businesses and their staff do not deal with stress and all of their conditions with a view to creating long-term change. The offerings in general have seemed to be like sticking plaster courses or an information service that did little to create lasting change within the individual. DRM Group offers a solution called Cognitive Performance Approach. And by delving into psychology, biology and neuroscience, we provide you and your company with a solid understanding of how our minds function, why we feel, behave and react as we do, and of course importantly, what we're going to do about it to create lasting change. Cognitive Performance Approach is etiological in that it is designed to address the cause. It's what sets DRM Group apart. And it's why that we're confident of the long-lasting results that we can deliver when it's fully implemented. We work with businesses from 100 employees up to 100,000 plus employees. There's no business too big that cannot make the necessary changes for the better. To help explain this to you in simple terms, I'd like to give you a quick explanation as to how the brain works. Why we suffer from stress, anxiety, why we have procrastination, that type of thing. As you can see on the screen, just have a little look at this image that we have on here. This area on the left hand side at the top is called the prefrontal cortex, the frontal lobe if you like. And this is the part that's allowing us to have this interaction at the moment. It's the conscious part, it's what we call as the working memory. And at the moment it's attached to this lovely vast intellectual resource you can see along the top here. And when we're working from this part of the brain, we generally get things right in life. It's generally very positive, and we're not perfect of course, but we certainly don't really suffer from stress, anxiety, lack of motivation, that type of thing. Now unfortunately we've got this other part of the brain, this lower area you can see here on this image, the limbic system. And this area here is the primitive emotional part of the brain. The centre, the most influential part, is called the amygdala, which is referred to as the fight, flight, freeze part of the brain you may well have heard of before. And I like to term that as a little fire officer. If we're in danger, of course, we want the fire officer to take over and to make sure that we're safe. It's associated with two other very primitive parts, as you can see in this lower area here. One area is called the hippocampus, which this is basically the little library of the brain. It stores all of our inappropriate thoughts or worries of the past, any fears that we may well have of the future, and of course that argument that you had with your colleague is very much stuck in there. And the hypothalamus is the other area, and it regulates the chemical responses in the body and the mind. So, let's imagine then you leave here today, as crazy as it sounds, you're just about to go outside, go for lunch or whatever you're going to do, and you run into this crazy wild animal, this wild man who's about to attack you. Well, what's going to happen? Well, anxiety levels, stress levels are going to go up, aren't they? And what's going to happen is you're going to move from this lovely, nice, intellectual, positive part of the brain that sits across the top, the intellectual area here, and you're going to move down into this primitive, emotional part of the brain. The amygdala is going to step in and you're going to go into that fight, flight, freeze zone. Now under those crazy, ridiculous circumstances that would be entirely appropriate. But unfortunately it's exactly the same in life. It's exactly the same within business, of course. When those stress levels go up, and what we talk about, it kind of fills up our metaphorical stress bucket. Our stress bucket is where we hold all our stresses and strains of the day and of the week, of the month, etc. When this fills up more and more, what we start to do is we start to live in this primitive area of the brain, and we start to be less positive, more negative obviously. We have more procrastination, less control. We start to not be very functioning and of course perform very well at all. So how does this relate to you, your business, your clients, customers, associates? Well, this is very much a human nature thing. It can at times, of course, affect us all. Statistically at the moment, within the UK, it is clearly understood that businesses are suffering from chronic resilience issues, from reduced productivity levels and high stress, which is hindering the people and their businesses ultimately. Days lost through absenteeism and the actually more prevalent presenteeism are in fact at the moment 45% in relation to stress within the workplace. And this is according to the Health and Safety Executive's latest figures. Implementation of DRM groups, training and mentoring programs can comfortably halve that loss. So, in a nutshell, we help businesses to improve morale, reduce costs and increase productivity. And we do this by incrementally improving the cognitive performance, the emotional well-being and the mental health of each and every employee in a given company. So thank you for taking the time today to watch and to listen. And if you want some more information, of course, please just visit drmgroup.co.uk. Thank you.